I get it when you're running a bakery or a busy restaurant kitchen. The last thing you want is to waste time hand-shaping every single ball of dough. You've probably tried the old trick of using a kitchen scale and a rolling pin, only to end up with dough pieces that are all over the place and a crew that's getting sore from the repetitive motion. That hesitation you feel before you click Add to Cart is real, especially when the equipment you're looking at promises to make everything perfect with the press of a button. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. So let's break down whether the VEVOR electric dough divider actually lives up to the hype, and who should bother spending the cash on it. First off, this isn't a giant industrial press that will feed a factory line. It's a tabletop unit that can cut up to 20 pieces of dough at a time, each ranging from roughly 2 ounces up to a little over 9 ounces. That size envelope hits a sweet spot for things like dinner rolls, small pizza bases, biscuit dough, or even portioned cookie dough. If you're the kind of baker who needs to churn out consistent portions for a daily lunch service, or a catering operation that has to hit exact weights for cost control, the concept is pretty appealing. What I liked about the design is the straightforward loading process. You place a sheet of dough on the stainless steel tray, line it up with the cutter guides, and the copper wound motor does the work. The motor runs quietly enough that it doesn't dominate the kitchen soundscape, which is a small but nice detail when you have multiple stations humming at once. The stainless steel tray is genuinely easy to wipe down, no weird crevices where flour can hide, so cleaning after a batch is a matter of a quick brush and a wipe. In a real-world shift, that means you can move from a morning batch of rolls straight into an afternoon batch of mini pizzas without spending half an hour scrubbing. Now, let's talk about the practical strengths that actually matter when the lights go out and you're trying to get orders out the door. Consistency is the headline. With the VEVOR, each piece comes out the same weight and shape, which translates into even baking. In my kitchen tests, the dough didn't get squished or stretched. The cutter simply pressed down and released a neat puck. That uniformity saved me from having to rotate trays halfway through baking to even out the browning, and it also cut down on waste. No more that roll was too big, we have to throw it out. For a business that tracks ingredient costs down to the gram, that consistency can add up to noticeable savings over a month. Speed is the next big factor. Manually shaping 20 rolls can take you anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes, depending on how steady your hands are. With the electric divider, you're looking at under a minute from load to unload. The motor's torque is enough to handle slightly sticky dough without stalling, which is something you'll appreciate if you work with high hydration recipes or dough that's been resting for a while. The quick cycle means you can keep the line moving, especially during peak lunch hours when you're trying to get a batch of sandwiches ready in under 10 minutes. On the flip side, the machine does have a few trade-offs that you should factor into your decision. The capacity is capped at 20 pieces per cycle, which is perfect for a small to medium operation but could become a bottleneck if you're pushing out hundreds of rolls per hour. In that case, you'd end up running the unit back-to-back, and the workflow might still lag behind a larger, conveyor-style press. Another point is the initial learning curve. The cutter's guides need to be aligned precisely, or you'll get off-center pieces. It's not a deal-breaker, but it does mean the first few batches require a bit of practice to get the timing right. A subtle but real weakness is the cleaning of the motor housing. While the tray is stainless and easy, the motor's copper housing can collect flour dust over time, and because it's an electric component, you can't just submerge it. I found that a small handheld vacuum and a damp cloth keep it tidy, but it's an extra maintenance step that you won't see on a purely manual cutter. Also, the power cord is on the shorter side, so you'll need to make sure the outlet is close enough to the prep station, or use an extension that can handle the motor's draw. Who should actually buy this? If you run a bakery that needs to portion out rolls, buns, or small pastries for daily service, the VEVOR gives you a reliable way to keep each piece the same weight without adding a lot of labor cost. Restaurants that serve a fixed number of dough-based items, think garlic knots, mini pizzas, or even donut bites, will find the consistency helpful for both kitchen timing and cost control. Food.